From last night all the way to today, and I'm sure quite a few days into the foreseeable future, I've been watching the entire internet go into a corkscrew nosedive and have a collective brain aneurysm out of blatant rage, confusion, and overall disgust at YouTube enacting more changes and deciding to update that terms of service, which turned out this shit has been around for quite a while now, but they are now just deciding that they need to go ahead and really enforce these changes, and it hasn't been for the better. And whenever you decide to go through with a fine-tooth comb and look at all the changes that they have with this, the vague wording of it all, it isn't anything that anybody's just going to be like, hip hip hooray! So glad this is going to better the YouTube world. Here's what they have so far. Content that is considered not advertiser friendly, which I think is a bullshit front for what they're really trying to do, but that's just my opinion. I'll get to that in a little bit. Sexually suggestive content including partial nudity and sexual humor. Violence including display of serious injury and events related to violent extremism. Inappropriate language included harassment, profanity, and vulgar language. Promotion of drugs and regulated substances including selling, use, and abuse of such items, controversial, sensitive subjects and events including subjects related to war, political conflicts, natural disasters, and tragedies, even if graphic imagery is not shown. Now, out of everything, the bottom part of it was the one that I was bothered by the most, oddly enough. You would think that I would fixate and I'd focus on the one having to do with the profanity and vulgar language. That's the bottom one. Controversial or sensitive subjects and events including subjects related to war, political conflicts, and natural disasters and tragedies. Do you understand what that does? We're not talking about just strictly stifling creativity amongst a large bevy of people out there who are all in sort of subcategories and subgenres and what kind of content they create on YouTube. I'm talking about literally stopping the flow of information and allowing it to just be strictly for the major media outlets. So MSNBC can go and do it, Fox News can do it, you know, all those motherfuckers are allowed to go and do that shit, but man, you don't want just regular ass folks like us. YouTube, all about you. Well, if you're talking about subject matter like that, well, that could offend some people. Then they shouldn't watch or listen to it. Now, should they? You can't talk about it because it's sensitive. No shit. Do you understand that anything can be controversial or sensitive depending on the person that is listening and how they react to it? This is all a matter of perspective, but due to the carefully worded way that they have all these guidelines now, and this isn't just PR bullshit jargon, no. This is all written up by attorneys so that you couldn't even take them to court if you had the cash flow to. This is some shit right here that is ridiculous that they're trying to enforce, because this is how you sink a ship. Keep in mind that there are tons of motherfuckers out there chomping at the bit and biting at their boot heels, wanting to be the next YouTube. It's not going to take very much for Netflix U or Twitch U to decide to go and make their own YouTube clone and put that out there, and considering that they already have well-established name recognition and providing a service that Google no longer is going to with YouTube and give everybody the platform that they used to have, well, then you see a big shift in users suddenly take place. Obviously, things would change for the better or for the worse, and they just sell it off because it's nothing but a shell of its former self, and why bother if it's not even, worth it monetarily? Now, one of the things that I was mentioning earlier, I think a lot of this stuff, it's not advertiser friendly. I think all of this is just a big bullshit fucking front, and that's the truth. We've seen, and keep in mind, this can be one of those things of, oh, well, Alpha, I really feel that you've got the tinfoil hat on, and this is just conspiracy theory shit. And you might be right. You might be right, and I might be wrong about all of this, but there's been a lot of times that, well, I was right about shit, and people said, oh, there's no way possible that it's that way. And it did turn out to be that once enough information was unearthed. But sure as shit, I can guarantee you, just due to contract obligations and all that shit, nobody working behind the scenes would ever admit to any of this shit. So all I can do is assume, but due to the fact that we live into an ever-increasing politically correct world, And we've seen on the internet, between YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and tons of other websites out there that are going far out of their way to protect everybody and put them inside of their little hug box. Make sure that they stay well within their safe space. Because you don't want to go and rock the boat too much. Oh man, don't want to go and do any of that. Polarizing opinions. I can't believe that you would even think such a notion was deemed acceptable. How dare you? And talking about this shit, sexually suggestive content including partial nudity and sexual humor. If I said anything about wieners and butts, oh, I'm sorry, well, that's sexual humor. Like, do you realize how fucking often, not only am I profane in virtually every single video that I put out there, and I choose to be profane. It may not be for everybody, but it's my choosing to make the content this way. And if I make jokes like that, well, it's suddenly, oh, that's gonna be unmonetized. Why? But it's not advertiser friendly. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you realize how many advertising companies out there are putting their advertisements on YouTube videos that contain so much over-the-top shit that hits every single one of these bullet points right here like a fucking lightning rod, and they don't even care, not even a smidge. And you want to know why? Because if a video is getting 12 million views, do you think they give a single solitary fuck at all, or even a sliver of a fuck, oh, can't say that, about the content that's inside there? Sure, some of them might be like, oh, well, morally, it's objectionable to all the people that run this company, so we're not going to allow it. And they're taken, their spot is taken up by somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else. Everybody is in line to go and have their shit seen by millions of people. Like, trying to bring up all this fucking AdSense into the bullshit, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You know, whenever I got to see Phil DeFrago talking about it, whenever I got to see H3 Productions talking about Boogie 298A, these are big fucking well-established YouTube channels. Two of which had quite a few of their videos smacked the living fuck out of. It was interesting watching H3's video though, because he was talking about the metadata that is attached to all of these videos, including video descriptions, titles, the tags inside of them, and some of them are only being targeted because of the type of tags and the type of wording that's being used. For example, if you're talking about anything that has to do directly and correlates to terrorism, things that had to do with like suicide and shit like that, racism, blah blah blah, all that kind of shit, all of a sudden they were targeted and they were monetized. And I think that's kind of ridiculous, because if that is the subject matter, and I've seen ones that somebody, for example, was just talking about them wanting to get over suicide. Well, no shit, you're going to use tags like that. So you're saying that a positive video that's helped a lot of people be able to get through something is something that's not advertiser friendly, even though the entire point of the video is nothing but good. Good vibes, positivity, meant to help people, and I just don't get it. So a positive influence, all of a sudden it's not advertiser friendly, but this is just automated bullshit being hit up. So naturally you have to go in, any of the videos that are being unmonetized, and go and argue against that, and then hopefully they have a real person going and watching all that shit. And you'd be surprised how many people work for Google that do watch these videos, that do know who the fuck everybody is, and they're aware of all this shit. And I have to go and wonder, why is it that all the people at YouTube have one big problem with having a discussion and informing people about these changes? Why is it that all of a sudden you're cracking down and cracking down hard? Why is it that this shit is suddenly taking place despite these rules being put in place like almost a year ago? Why is that? As a matter of fact, I still remember when this was brought up, because people said, oh man, Alpha, your videos, they're gonna go to hell in a handbasket because, you know, you're always using profanity and shit, and you're always talking about controversial topics. And I didn't sweat it. So I didn't sweat it. Out of the 1,000 videos, yes, 1,000 videos, this will be video 1001. Out of 1,001 videos, don't know about this one just yet, 3 were hit up. That's it, out of the entire bunch. And in the past, I've had videos claimed, I've had videos flagged, I've had videos removed. I've dealt with that shit for years. I've been doing this shit for 7 fucking years. So, the beginning of August marked 7 years that I've been on YouTube making videos. Talking about all sorts of things that interest me. All sorts of things that I had opinions about. And 3 of them got hit up. Is it really worth my time to go and argue them? Sure as shit it was. Because I was just like, no, I'm well within my rights to go and discuss half this shit. So, sorry. And there's a lot of people out there who are going to say, you know, this really just goes against your freedom of speech. And to an extent, you're right. The fucked up part about it is anything within amendments, anything within laws, anything that's right. Your judicial system does not mean shit because they own the website. They can dictate what will be, what won't be, what is allowed, what won't be allowed. They can just ban your fucking channel outright, and their reasoning would be, oh, that was it? Just, yeah. We decided to ban your channel because, You know, obviously, they're going to take a lot of fucking flack for doing some bullshit like that, but they can if they want to. Granted, that's an easy way to go and sink your fucking shit, but hey, it's the truth though. And that's the fucking thing about it that drives me up a wall. I'm just like, they are within their rights to go and do that. Here's how shit, to me, looks. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you do it. There's plenty of things I can go out there and do and say. The world is my oyster, and there's an infinite amount of possibilities of what I can do with my day. Today I decided that I'd go and talk about all this shit because I wanted to talk about it last night. I was just too fucking sore from the gym, so I said, fuck it, I'll do it today. And with this, with all of this, YouTube, you really have no idea how bad shit can get. Because we actually run this shit, whether you like it or not. Think about it. What would YouTube be without just regular ass motherfuckers like you and me uploading videos and watching videos on it? It would be a barren fucking wasteland, and the shit would sink quick. The minute that you don't have content constantly being uploaded on there, and sure, there's a bevy of stuff on there, but all it takes is a lot of the bigger people will just start deleting all their shit and moving it over somewhere else. Like I said, just imagine if Twitch or Netflix decided to go and make their competitive platform that matches what YouTube did, but better because not stifling. It doesn't decide that it's just going to enclose you inside of a box creatively. And that's the thing that fucks me up even more about it is, think about the fucking smaller channels dealing with this kind of shit, and all this does is fucking scare them. And it's a bunch of fucking scare tactics, because then other big channels are like, man, I have a lot to go and lose because of something like this. I don't want to go and deal with that. So then they're worried about what kind of content are they going to make. Oh, well, I don't want to go and say this because it'll offend those people. Oh, did you see those terms of service? I don't want to go and piss off anybody. That's the thing about all this. It becomes more fucked up the more you think about it. This is one of those situations where I'm just like, I actually love YouTube because I've been going to this website for like 9 years now. Out of the 10 years that YouTube has existed. We're talking about a decade of fucking decadence on the internet, and this isn't the first time that you've decided to change up some shit and weren't met with a positive response. But the only way that people are able to get their point across is by being vocal about it. Don't be fucking scared. First and foremost, look, if they unmonetize every single one of my fucking videos tomorrow, including this one and every video from here on out, that's not going to change what the fuck I'm saying right now. That's not going to invalidate any of my opinions. That's not going to make me think, oh, well, I need to go and change it. Nah, it doesn't fucking change anything. I got the fucking balls. Trust me. I don't mind. I don't mind if I've got to be the one to go out there and take the fucking hit. You want to know why? Because you do not fucking compromise. If you give a shit about something, you don't become a fucking yes man whenever it's just sliding and declining in quality. Because that means that you don't respect what it is and what it should be. That's the kind of shit that I'm just like, why are you so fucking stupid? Like, why do people do that kind of shit? I've seen people defending this stuff left and right, and I've seen other ones say, yeah, well, I got Adblock, so I don't even see that shit. You are the biggest bunch of dumb fucks I've ever seen. Oh, well, I got Adblock. Do you know how the fucking site works, idiot? Like, do you? Here, how about this? Let me go and rattle off some fucking facts for you about Adblock and all the other shit. One, there's plenty of fucking Adblocks out there that have ads built into them. Way to go. You did fucking nothing, idiot. But on top of all this, you do realize that the advertisers get to see how many times that their ads are viewed and how many times that they're skipped over. That shit exists. They're not fucking dumb. So when the advertisers aren't making their money and YouTube can't convince them that, hey, it's actually worth the amount of cash that you're paying us to have your advertisements being played on there, they go and they keep pulling that shit. Eventually, that means that the website is no longer self-sufficient. You want to know what that means? That it cannot exist anymore without having some kind of cash. Do you think this shit's just magical? Do you think it just pays for itself? Well, the ads are how it pays for itself. And that whole YouTube Red thing, that pissed everybody off. It's amazing to think that they were so into the idea of YouTube Red, and then they're talking about all these things having to be advertiser friendly. So it's obvious that YouTube Red was a fucking bust for them overall. I never hear anybody talking about it, and it's kind of like Google Plus. People just kind of forget about it because nobody gives a shit anymore. They quit pushing it, and it didn't really work out. So now, back to all this point, if you have a website that can't fucking sustain itself, what happens? Well, you have to find a different means to be able to make sure that it stays afloat. Because if not, it sinks. So, what the fuck do you think happens? Well, it goes to a pay-only platform, and then you'll bitch and complain about that, but you were a part of the problem. Oh, it's about greed and all this other shit. I learned this back in the fucking mid-90s when I began making websites at a fucking public library, jackass. Because I was a fucking young kid and I wasn't able to afford to go and pay for the amount of server space and the amount of bandwidth that was being used up and a bunch of other shit. So guess what that meant? My website would only be up for a short amount of time and then would go down. Because it was a fucking Final Fantasy fan site. I learned that shit back then as a kid, and you can't figure this shit out as a fucking adult? What's that say about you? Moving the fuck on with all this shit, there's people saying, oh man, well, we'll just go somewhere else. Right now, there really is no decent competition. Think about that first and foremost. YouTube is able to go and make a lot of these stupid fucking ass decisions because there is no other platform that is on their fucking level. But if they keep doing shit like this, suddenly, it just happens. That's why I brought the whole thing of like Netflix and Twitch, because they're the two that come to mind most that already got the name recognition, already have a video platform, already well known, and many are trusted. Out of the two, I would say Twitch is in a much better position to be able to do it, because they already know that, well, YouTube's gunning for them, because, well, they're the streaming website, and some people would say Ustream, but come on, and most motherfuckers know about Twitch. So, no competition means that they can just run roughshod and continue to do shit like this, because, well, where else are you gonna go? I mean, I don't like the idea of anybody having to just give up on what they're doing, whether you're making music, whether you're making animation, whether you're making something that's the equivalent of a television show, whether you're making news reviews, whether it's blogs. I don't give a fuck what kind of content you're making, because it's near infinite in possibilities of what you can create on here, and that's the beauty of it. But when you become scared to go and make shit because they start doing stuff like this, and you can't turn a profit, meaning you can't invest as much quality, as much time into it, and somebody can argue, what about Patreon? Well, Patreon isn't exactly an option for everybody that is just getting started, for example, because you don't have anything yet. Well, everything should just be done because of your love for it. Yeah, most people are still doing it for the love of it, but if you want to make that shit full-time, if you want the quality to be fucking out of control, that shit takes a lot of resources, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and the fact is that people have been doing this shit for a fucking living, and every single stupid-ass cocksucker that says the dumb, tried to, hey, get a real job. You're the same fucking assholes out there that would bitch and complain whenever the entertainment industry, which guess what, you'd be including that, would just up and stop everything. Then what, asshole? Not a real job? What do you mean, doing a fucking 9-to-5 job that you fucking hate every single day? And trust me, the shit is work, whether you think it is or not. What, because it's not back-breaking labor? Because somebody's not out in the fucking hot sun sweating their ass off? And guess what? Some of them actually are, whether you fucking know it or not. But the grass is always greener, and it's easy to have that kind of perspective when you've never put the fucking time and effort in on it. I have plenty of friends out there who bust their fucking ass 80 hours a fucking week. Not 40, fucking 80. Working their asses off. You want to say it's not a real fucking job? You do it then, bitch! I want to see you fucking do it. Entertain people and keep their fucking attention. Make a fucking channel successful. Go on. Take the fucking dare. And if you can do it, good for fucking you. But all the fucking coattail riding ass motherfuckers who want to go and say some shit, fuck you. Fuck every last one of you. You know, Patreon to me, I actually have a Patreon account. You want to know what it's for? For me supporting other channels. Literally. I've never decided to go with it because I didn't want to be looked at, oh, you're fucking greedy, you're a piece of shit, I fucking hate you, and all this other shit. Even though I didn't reinvest that money into a fucking, like, into an actual editor who could edit full-time for me, so I'd be able to go and buy a product and review new fucking things and a bunch of other shit. But if you do something like that, you deal with a whole bunch of fucking crap on top of that. You know, I see people always fucking bitching about this shit and they have no fucking idea because they only think one fucking way. And YouTube, like, in your infinite fucking wisdom, you think that deciding to water down everything into some kid-friendly fucking bullshit? Oh man, the profanity. There's a fucking age restriction on the website. What is that for then? If the very notion and idea that, oh man, that person is profane and they're swearing. Here, how about this? I use excessive profanity in my videos because I choose to, and if you watch one of my videos and you don't hear any of the facts, any of the opinions, any of the perspectives, anything that I'm bringing up the entire time, the entire fucking point to the video, and all you focused on was fuck, shit, damn, whore, cunt, ass, whatever. If you focus strictly on those and you heard nothing else, whose fault is that? Mine or yours? I choose to go and do this. I have an expansive vocabulary, but you're gonna go and gloss over all that shit and you're gonna overlook it because you wanted to go and look at, oh, well, he did decide to go and pepper up that sentence with the word fuck a few times. I'm not comfortable with that. Hit back. Doesn't mean I shouldn't be allowed to go and say the shit. I mean, anytime that there's been something that I did not like to watch, I stopped watching it. I didn't demand YouTube to say, well, that should be allowed. Who the fuck am I to ever make a demand like that? But it's their website and they can go and do that shit. Like I said before, doesn't mean that's a good idea. And sure, there's going to be plenty of folks out there like, hey, this is just going to blow over. And truth be told, like I had said on Twitter, I don't see this shit lasting long because anytime that they've done some dumb bullshit, it's gone viral. Everybody talked about it. Everybody made a big stink about it. Shit went back to normal. Everybody went back in their fucking catatonic state and they were all happy-go-lucky and just continued making the content that they were making and everybody continued watching it. And like the short attention span that the internet has, we forgot about it. We moved on to the next gripping issue. And that's how things work. I'm assuming that it'll be like that, but I just want to understand, why don't you ever open up communications between yourself and those that watch and create? To let us know why you're doing this shit, whether or not you think it's a good idea. Like, I don't understand that. You're a big enough company to go and do that, and it's always locked behind closed doors, never anybody to fucking speak to or talk to, nothing like that. It's just a big fucking mystery, and everybody feels like they're just dealing with an automated machine. Because guess what? That's what the fucking site feels like. That there is absolutely no humans. And I don't fucking get it. I don't. I mean, I've worked my fucking ass off on this fucking channel, and I love it to death. It's the most effort I've ever put into anything, and I'm fucking proud of it. My family's proud of it, my friends are fucking proud of it, and I'll be damned if I ever fucking give up on it. You wanna know why? Because this is a big part of my life. Gaming's a big part of my life. This is a fucking passion project, if anything, that turned into something way bigger than I ever fucking thought possible. And it's still a goddamn drop in a bucket compared to fucking PewDiePies and Markipliers out there in the fucking world, but it's mine. I fucking made it. So that's why I say the shit that I'm saying. People are gonna be like, oh, well, you better not talk shit because they'll be in your channel. Then fucking do it. You wanna know why? Because I'm not gonna sit there idly by and not fucking speak my mind. I'm not gonna sit there and fucking applaud things that I think are bad ideas because I respect the fucking platform, I respect the content creators, and I respect everybody who's fucking watching it enough to call it like it is with no fucking filter. You can hate me until the end of days. You can literally subscribe just so you can thumb down my videos and call me every fucking name in the book. But I can tell you one thing, I haven't fucking bullshitted you. At least there's that. And on top of it, you don't have to like this, but at least fucking say something if you aren't cool with this. Hate me, but don't fucking enjoy this shit. Cause trust me, this is nothing but every single politically correct asshole out there. This is their fucking wet dream. And that's the truth. This is their fucking wet dream of the idea that people aren't gonna be able to fucking say all sorts of shit, and that counts for them, but they're too fucking stupid to have perspective to understand that. It's nothing but just what's happening right now. No long-term thinking at all. I had a lot of shit to get off my chest about all this shit, whether it has to do with metadata, whether it has to do with actual, like, PC bullshit behind the scenes, whether or not YouTube's going to be forward about this shit, whether this is going to last all that long, whether more of my videos are going to be unmonetized, whether or not everybody's going to shift over to a different fucking platform that's going to rise up as a direct thing of competition. YouTube, who the fuck knows? It is a waiting game. But I just want to go and say all this shit. If you liked the video, fucking thank you. If you didn't, don't fucking care. I made it anyway, and it's gonna stay here. So piss the fuck off on that. But honestly, don't be scared. Voice your fucking opinion. That's the only way shit matters. If they see everybody is fucking pissed off and jacked off about some shit like this, that's the only way that a point gets across. Motherfuckers are powerful in numbers. Trust me, if we all got up and just left, took videos with us, took the content with us, and went elsewhere, they'd be left with fucking nothing with a lot of regret. Like, YouTube is just a fucking name and a platform. There's everybody else out in the world that would fucking kill for this, and trust me, they know it. So they don't want to go and bite the hand that technically feeds them. Anyway, that's pretty much it. This is AlphaOmegaSin, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers game the fuck on!